What do you think about the king? What do you think about the king? Now, just in case some of you are unfamiliar with the telling of the story for the second time, if you recall, I shared with you last week tidbits of information dealing with the author of this book and how he has recorded some of the same stuff that was found in the book of Kings. There was a period in Hebrew history when there was a divided kingdom. There was Israel and there was Judah, northern and southern kingdoms that had been split as a result of the disobedience of the people of God to God. And you know, whenever we are disobedient and when we're given prone to sin and get stuck on stupidity and stay in our sin, there is always a penalty that has to be paid for the sin. As a result of the individuals continuing to go down the wrong road, the kingdom has become divided, and God inevitably has to work somehow so that he can bring about a united kingdom. We discover that King Solomon, the individual that Jesus said was the wisest person who ever lived, is struggling to do something that his father was incapable of doing. His father did not have the ability to build a place where the people would worship because his hands were tainted. Because there was some personal sin in his life. Even though he was a great king, a great leader, there was some stuff that stood between him and God that kept him from accomplishing what needed to be done. If we are honest with ourselves, there are some things in our personal lives that we have to concur that God would have done some amazing things with us and in us and around us if we could have just stayed focused. But the truth of the matter is that there are times in our lives when we've gotten off track, when we have glanced at a situation that we should have ran past quickly. Am I talking to anybody this morning? When we could have gotten catapulted into a position where God wanted us to be, but we got stuck in a situation that we just couldn't get out of. Preach, Smith, I'm trying. And so the text wants to be very informative for us this morning in suggesting that immediately upon finishing the temple, after giving glamour and elements to his own house, Solomon is now about to celebrate what God has done through him. Word has gotten out throughout the country that Solomon has been successful, has done some great things, and the people are impressed about what they hear. They are impressed because it has gotten back to them that Solomon has built a place for the Ark of the Covenant to be stored, a place for the people to gather in Jerusalem to worship. It is unlike any other place that has ever been built. He has utilized funds that other people did not have. He has had the wisdom and the ability to utilize individuals who were capable of erecting a place where they could worship the God that they believed in to such an extent that people all across the then known world had heard about what he had done and were so impressed that they wanted to meet up with Solomon. They just thought he was a person of great wealth and ability. It's one thing to hear what somebody does, but it's another thing to witness it for yourself. Come on, talk to me a little bit this morning, folks. And so the Queen of Sheba, who is a couple of years out, traveling by way of camel, she was not flying on the Emirates. She could not be there in a couple of hours. It would take her years to go from southern Arabia to make her way to Jerusalem. And so while riding on her camel in her caravan, she makes her way to Jerusalem. Now please remember that every time you look in the Old Testament and discover Jerusalem, it is always suggested that here is the holy place where the people of God meet up with God so that they can celebrate what God has done, or better yet, to in request of God a favor to do some things to get them out of a particular situation. Let's assume in the 21st century, this is your location of Jerusalem, right here in the context of where you worship, at 857 Lumber, and somehow it's been designated and consecrated, dedicated, so that somehow you can show up here and recognize that God has blessed you to be where you are. I'm just trying to convey a story this morning, that's all. Because I know that sometimes we have a tendency to forget that we are not still stuck in Arabia, but have made our way to Jerusalem. The Queen of Sheba, who is obviously an impressive sister, well, she's not impoverished, she has great wealth, because the historians have suggested that the Queen of Sheba has actually brought with her over $100 million of merchandise to present to the king. You do know that Solomon is not the only king. He was not the first king, but he was a prominent king. He was a king that indeed had blessed the people far beyond their wildest imagination. And lo and behold, the text says the Queen of Sheba arrives here in Jerusalem with a caravan of individuals and things. Come here for just a moment. Because the text would lead us to believe that whenever we go to see the king, we ought not arrive empty-handed. How dare us show up to be in the presence of the king and not show up with something to present to the king? She has amassed an amount of monies and goods to present to this king. Now don't forget, she has shown up in this position merely because of what she's heard. She has arrived here this day in Jerusalem because somebody else told her of what the king has done. He has erected his own palace, which is second to none. He has erected the place where God's covenant of the ark is to reside, and where the people are to show up and to worship and to pay homage to him, and it's unlike any other place in the world. She's heard that he is kind and loving, and she wants to see him for herself. The text says, when she arrives in Jerusalem and presents what she has to offer to him, she can't help but notice that here in his audience is individuals who are draped in the finest of robes. The officials that are sitting before him are not dummies. They are individuals of intellect. They are schooled in sociology and philosophy. They have studied psychology. They know a little bit of something about religion. They are sitting there in the presence of King Solomon. The table is adorned with the best of foods. The individuals who are there before him are not ignorant. He is dialoguing with them. Sophia seems to sit at the table. I'm sorry. Sophia is just that Hebrew word that means knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom is sitting here at the table. You missed that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to move too fast. But while she is impressed by what's happening at the table, while the audience is there watching him and listening to him, she is observing everything that goes on. Because she has heard previously that he's done something nobody else could do. because she wanted to see what type of king is this? Who is this king that the audience seems to be sitting at his feet? Who is this individual that has such wisdom that nobody else seems to have? This is the same God that requested of Yahweh the ability to reason correctly. I dare suggest this morning that anytime we gather in the presence of the king, if we can just ask God, give us enough wisdom to do what he's requested of us to do, there might be some changes made in the place where we worship. I know you've heard a lot about what the king has done. I know you heard that the king has healed some folk who were sin sick. I know you've heard some stories where the king has raised some dead. I know you've heard some stories where the king has given sight to the blind. I know you've heard where the king has fed multitudes. I know you've heard some stories where the king has shown up and touched the briar or the casket and caused the dead to rise. I know you heard. But my question to you this morning is, personally, what do you think of the king? I just stopped by to question somebody this morning. If the king is all that they say he is, what has he done for you lately? If the king is the ultimate reality of the presence of an awesome God, has that king touched your life? Has he raised you up from where you were? Has he got your sight because you were blind? Has he opened up your ears to hear, given you speech? What do you think about my king? I'm just asking the question that the text is asking. It's just asking whether or not you are impressed by what you've heard. It's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to see it. She heard of what he accomplished, but when she arrived there, she saw what he did. Let me remind you this morning, you are where you are because he brought you to where you are. You are not that good, you are not that sinless, you are not that perfect, but the king. Has blessed your life. So this morning, don't be so impressed about what you see or what you hear, about what he's done for somebody else. My ultimate question to you this morning is, what do you think of the king? What did he do for you? Where did you come from? What did he bring you through? What has he given to your life? Or has he raised you up? Has he given you strength when you didn't have strength?